heard me say a prayer earlier. In my private life, I serve as an ordained minister, and I actually worship at the same church that CeCe worships. And so I was certainly honored to offer the invocation tonight. In my private life, I also work at a federal agency, which I'm not at liberty to say, in the office of that agency, in the secretary's office of that agency, which name I cannot say. Also, I can say this, I also, when I'm not in the office of the secretary of that particular agency, I also serve as a commissioner in Prince George's County. I serve as a commissioner appointed by the county executive on the Human Relations Commission. We are the civil rights arm of that particular agency, so if there's any type of employment discrimination or housing discrimination, then I have the authority to subpoena information to adjudicate if we need to take it to that particular level of any type of cases. The reason I'm here tonight is CeCe invited me tonight because I'm also a woman who has experienced domestic violence. And it happened one time, but it happened one time too many. When it happened, I was 6 weeks pregnant. And due to the violence that I experienced, the stress was too much. And while there's no medical proof that the reason I miscarried and lost a baby was due to the violence, I have no medical proof of that. I believe that was the reason that I miscarried. I did divorce and consider myself one of the lucky ones because it only needed to happen one time for me to leave the marriage. Yeah. The night that, several days afterwards, I was on the phone with the hospital POC who gave me a call. The night that the violence happened, I was treated in the hospital, and normally under pressure I am very calm. I'm someone that you call when there is a challenge, and normally I'm able to handle pressure very well until something like this happened to me. Several days later, the hospital called and wanted to know how I was doing because I was taken to the hospital by my in-laws, my two sister-in-laws. And normally I'm a very honest person. Being an ordained minister, one would think I would be an honest person, at least try to be. But I remember that night when they asked me what happened to me, I made up a story and said I tripped, or I just tripped over something. And I didn't tell the truth about what happened. And I point that out to say that domestic violence happens to women of all walks of life. When I was asked if I wanted a restraining order, I told them no. And I said, I cannot believe this is happening to me. I'm a woman who has an education. I'm an educated woman, because typically when we think of domestic violence, we think of women who are financially stretched, who probably don't have a high degree or high level of education. That is not true. And so the night that I was on the phone with the hospital POC, I said, I'm an educated woman, this should not be happening to me. And she said domestic violence happens to all types of women, black women, white women, Hispanic women, Latino women, women who are across religious spectrums, across educational attainment. It does not matter. And so I have written a book where I chronicle what happened to me. And I detail my experience. And yes, I did contemplate going back to my ex-husband, but I made a decision that my life mattered, my purpose in life mattered, and that I was not created to be cursed,